Hello, this is Professor Sanyal. In this video, I'm going to show how to use a model to score a dataset. Scoring refers to the process of applying a trained machine learning model to new data to generate predictions. For this exercise, I'm going to use this decision tree model that I built in a previous video. To quickly recap the context, let me show the dataset that I used for building this model. So the background is that a health insurance program director is seeking to identify which patients who have already suffered a heart attack are at risk of having a second one. Her goal is to use machine learning to guide the development of targeted intervention programs such as stress reduction or weight management that can help reduce this risk. To support this effort, she has compiled two datasets. A training dataset with 135 individuals, which is this dataset over here. And shortly, I'm going to show you another dataset, which is the scoring dataset that contains 690 individuals who have had only one heart attack so far. The objective is to build a model that predicts the likelihood of a second heart attack, enabling more proactive personal care. So the model that I showed that I built in the previous video was using this training dataset. And again, this training dataset, the goal of this dataset is to predict the likelihood of the second heart attack. And as you can see, this dataset has 138 individuals, 68 of whom had a second heart attack and 70 of whom did not have a second heart attack. And the independent variables or the input variables in this dataset are attributes such as the age of the person, marital status, gender, weight category, cholesterol, stress management, trait anxiety, all the attributes that she thinks could be potential predictors of a second heart attack. So using this training dataset, I built this decision tree, and to quickly go over this process, the target variable is the second heart attack, and I partitioned the data 70-30, 70% for training the model and 30% for testing the model. And then I built the decision tree model using the decision tree operator, and then applied the model on the test dataset, that is the 30% dataset, in order to evaluate the performance of the model. So let's see how the model performed. So the model performance was pretty good, with both class accuracies at or above 95%, and the overall accuracy is 95.12%. Here is the decision tree. Weight category appears to be the strongest predictor of whether someone will have a second heart attack, cholesterol, age being the next two predictors. So now the next step is to use this model to make predictions for individuals who have had a heart attack, but we don't know whether they will have a second heart attack or not. And for that purpose, I'm going to use this scoring dataset. As I mentioned earlier, it has data, the same data on 690 individuals, that is age, marital status, gender, weight category, cholesterol, stress management, and trait anxiety. However, as you can see, this is an unlabeled dataset. That is, the outcome of interest, that is the second heart attack, is unknown. And that's what we are going to generate using our model. Okay, so now I can start building the model to score the scoring dataset. Now, for scoring, I do not need to evaluate the model. So I start scoring only after I'm happy with the performance of the model. So I can remove the operators that were used for evaluating the model. So I can remove the performance operator, I can remove the partitioning operator because this was used for testing the model, and I can keep these operators because these I will need for scoring the dataset. Now, Here is the scoring dataset, and this dataset I can put in the input port of the apply model operator that says UNL, which stands for unlabeled data. And as you can see now, the unlabeled, this port has 690 rows that were fed from the scoring dataset. And this model can now be used to score the data in the scoring dataset. So what will happen is the decision tree will be created, and then I will apply that model using this apply model operator on the scoring dataset. So I can go ahead and run this model now, and here is the output, and you can see that all the 690 individuals on the scoring dataset, now we have a prediction for these individuals, and this is the prediction. And the prediction, so we have out of the 690 individuals, 330 individuals are predicted to have a second heart attack, unfortunately, and the other 360 individuals in the dataset are predicted to not have a second heart attack. So in terms of percentage, out of the 690 individuals, 47.8% are expected to have a second heart attack, and 52.2% of the individuals are not expected to have a second heart attack. So that concludes this short video. Again, the goal of this video was to show how to score a data set using a trained machine learning model, which in this case was a decision tree model. Thank you so much for your attention.